I am going to go there with you, and there is Tom Brady, and I mentioned it earlier in the program here, Chris, that he is obviously the GOAT and deserves all the leeway possible. But I always thought that when it was time for Brady to start thinking about other things than football, it wouldn't look like he's fallen off the cliff. But I do see some throws he normally makes being missed. I understand that there's some major issues up front. Donovan Smith cost them another touchdown yesterday that he was able to overcome in that comeback win the previous week in Tampa on the Monday night against the Saints. But you're sitting here, and Brock Purdy's beaten him by 28, and I know it's the Niners defense that really did it, not Purdy, but in front of 100 family and friends in his spot. There are things that are happening essentially in Brady's career that just don't happen, have never happened. And I'm wondering if it is time to either think about, if he wants to play another year, find a better spot than the one he's in, or this is it. What do you think, Chris?
I think he should keep playing if he wants to keep playing. I think, number one, he's earned that right. Number two, yes, he's still a good quarterback in this league. I mean, like, this situation is jacked up. It's been jacked up from the beginning of the season. I'm not saying that nothing's Tom's fault. Like, Tom makes mistakes. He's 45 years old or whatever he is, and he hasn't been perfect. But that line has been a problem. I think the inconsistency at receiver, the red zone problems, losing Gronk, some of the game planning, some of the decision making. Like, I'm not backing the bus up over the coaching staff or anything like that. I just think he's got a good year in him somewhere else. I don't think it's Tampa. I floated like a month ago the New England thing, because I think it'd just be fun, right? And I've seen the Tampa thing as a sinking ship for some time now. I think he should play next year. Like, this is not how he wants to end. I don't want to put thoughts in his mouth or thoughts in his head or words in his mouth. But you really want to end this way? I mean, nothing has gone right for him this year. It's just been such a turmoil kind of filled year for him. And I want to compliment him. Like, Dre Greenlaw ran up to him last night, and I know at times, like, he hadn't shaken people's hands after games, and that sucks, right? Like, you're like, come on. But I do think, by and large, he's showed class through this thing. He's stood up, stood tall, answered questions after games, put things on himself when it's been his fault. He seems to be a good teammate. He last night, Dre Greenlaw ran up and got the ball that he intercepted signed. And I just like, damn, I know that is not what you want to be doing, but he's just kind of kept the brave face on and done it. And I just want to credit him for that. I mean, some people are probably like, oh, we're going to compliment Tom Brady, but the guy deserves, I think, he deserves some positivity for the way that he's handled some of this stuff. And I think he's got another year or two in him.
Well, what about Vegas? What about them? That's something I'm hearing a ton about. Obviously a McDaniels-Brady reunion. Devontae Adams is something any quarterback, it's someone any quarterback would want to play with. But by referring to Adams as a thing, I'm talking about who wouldn't want to play with the number one wide receiver, fill in the blank, in the NFL. Maybe that's a spot for Tom.
It could be. It certainly could be, but you got to think about it. Like, Tom Brady's done everything. So, like, at this point, if I'm Tom Brady, I'm thinking about, like, how does this story end, right? Because this is an amazing story. It's like one of the coolest stories in sports history. I mean, just like so unlikely in the first place. And, the winning all those rings in New England and then winning somewhere else, like, it's just been so wild. It deserves almost like, I think, a poetic finish, man. And I think going back to New England would be that kind of, like, let's make it work one more time. I don't know if it's feasible. I don't know if Bill would be interested in it. But as a fan, every Sunday, dude, like, imagine us sitting there and watching Bill and Tom back together in a 4 p.m. spot, battling with the elites of the AFC. Sometimes it's like the grass is greener and then it's not as green as you thought it was, and I think he's experiencing that right now. Not saying it could just be them. It could be the Jets. There could be some weird twist here. But I like the New England thing. I'm just kind of attached to it.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.